Recording in progress.
Welcome to Clockout, folks. Welcome to Clockout with Talentless. Shut up, Joel.
This is already off to a great start.
I love this.
Welcome to Clockout with Talentless, folks. We're here today with one of our greatest friends, biggest brands, Joel Lalgee. How are you today?
I am doing great. It's amazing to be here. I'm excited, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's go. I'm clocking out.
You're clocking out?
You're clocking out.
I clocked out years ago.
Good. I know. Good for you.
Then you're right on time.
We're trying to get there. Let's get there. So, as usual in this format, if you listened to this Clockout session before, we're going to ask Joel some very personal questions, and 3 questions. So we'll get right into it. Ashley, you want to start with the first one?
Yes. Question number 1. What is the shit that has brought you to this point in your career?
Yeah. Look, I started off, my first job was, out of college, was in retail banking, and I hated retail banking. I'm talking going into an office in a suit, working from 8 to 8 every single day, managing a bank. It was terrible. And one of my friends, he had a recruitment agency, and he's like, you should come and recruit. I didn't even ask what it was about. I was like, sign me up. It's fully remote. So I did that, and that was about a decade ago. And since then, about 5 years into my career, I started creating content for the recruiting space, putting out content like this, like just valuable stories about talent, about recruitment. And the combination between recruitment, recruiting, marketing, content has gotten me to this point. So I would literally credit to just putting myself out there, trying to add value, trying to just network as much as possible, and then constantly honing in the skills of like recruiting, learning, right? And now it's a lot about AI and just how much can I learn, innovate, put myself out there. So that's what's got me here.
Yeah, and you do such a good job at it. So
keep singing my praises.
Yeah, I will.
He's going to be on the show many, many more times, apparently, if we keep going with this. Well, and one thing that I'm curious about is on your journey. So, and I think we may have not, I know we said his name, but did we actually share like who all he is? Because he's kind of a big deal, y'all. I mean, people who are watching and listening should probably already know. I mean, this is basically Joel's brag show. Like, that's all he came for. He's just like, y'all talk about
as if I need more of that.
Yeah.
I know.
But, so Joel's like a big deal. He has a ton of followers. He's created a ton of talent content, and we are in a new era of people who are in talent and real talent legends are coming out of the woodwork to share their insights, their stories, and things like that, because we're seeing how many posers are actually in place, and we're starting to see a big delineation between who's great and who's not. So one curiosity I had from you in your career, like, what was the moment where you were like, okay, I may actually be able to do this for a living. I may actually be able to do something about this. Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like really 2 points. I think if we're looking at recruitment, which has obviously been a large part of what I do, it came pretty early on in my recruiting career. I remember taking on an engineering search, and one of the things that I think made me successful or makes me successful as a recruiter is I'm able to conceptualize the roles I'm working on. So a lot of recruiters they'll go back to what are the keywords on the job description. All right, cool. I'm going to take those keywords. I'm going to put them into a Boolean search. Now I'm going to look at profiles. And all of the profiles that match those keywords, those must be the good candidates, which obviously nowadays that's going to be ineffective because everyone has access to the same tools. Anyone can write a great profile or a great resume. I think what always made me good as a recruiter is I'm curious and I want to understand what a role is, and then I can conceptualize what the role is. And I learned this with an engineering search. Obviously, engineering is super technical. You've got mechanical engineers that are working on buildings. You've got mechanical engineers that are working in manufacturing. You have mechanical engineers that are building small products, big machinery. And I remember just early on, just having a knack for being able to have a conversation with someone and literally picture the work that they were doing, and then understanding the work that they needed to do, because I could also reverse that and have a conversation with the hiring manager and ask the right questions to understand what is the work that's actually going to be done. And so instead of just relying on keywords and terms or software names and buzzwords, just able to get in there and just say, hey, like, what is it you actually do? Explain it to me. Or obviously look at a resume and put 2 and 2 together. Look at the company page, go, wow, okay, if this engineer is working on this and this is what the company produces, this is probably the work they're going to do. So I think immediately that popped out to me. And then the second piece would just be understanding people and wanting to connect with people. Again, I'm curious. I want to know. I just want to know, like, what makes you tick? What are you into? And that also helps you connect with people, right? Really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And then on the content side, it was kind of a little bit different. But with content, I started producing content. I remember about 3 weeks into producing content, flurry of people at one of my old companies started doing the same thing. And they were kind of not copying me, but they were like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it.
They copied you, Joel. They had meetings, and they were like, we're doing this.
They're like, we're going all in. They start telling me these weird stories. I'm like, wait a minute, that's my story. You just went.
Right.
But then I had a manager come up to me, and he was like, how do you come up with stuff every day? I'm like a week in, and I can't think of anything else. And I just realized, like, oh, okay, like I have this like creative side to me, and I'm now finding a use for that creativity. So I feel like it's similar because it's like you just do it and then you figure out like, oh, actually, this is a skill that's needed and it comes natural to me, which is a complete opposite to working at the bank, which was just everything I hate, like organization, policy, procedure.
I know you love organization so much.
Yeah, you love red tape.
That's why I'm an agency recruiter. I can fill it.
Yeah,
what's your process?
I can feel it.
I can feel it.
No. Get it done. I get it done. I am going to make it happen. But what, do you have No, don't worry about that. Just, yeah.
I do like what you said about that, though, about like the technical part of recruiting and conceptualizing it and then mixing it with creativity because, you know, it's how I started my career in marketing, got into recruiting, I'm back in marketing on the recruiting side still, but it's that blend for me of like the technical part of recruiting, but like the creative part of being able to sell the dream to somebody. And so I love that. And that idea like really resonates in my career. So that was a great answer to Ashley's question. Wonderful. Oh, whatever. Not the question wasn't good. The answer was good.
That was great. Great question.
Yeah, that's the same question we ask everyone, by the way.
It's
so
gotta be
it's
the best
crap
answer.
Now, it's crap
anyone,
every time.
This better
Sorry,
be the
go
best.
ahead.
This better have been the best answer that we've had. How many episodes do we? What episode number is this?
This is one of Clockout.
For Clockout, this is one. So
It's the best answer you've ever had.
It is the best
answer.
This show is going so well for you, Joel. Oh my gosh. On the show, we're like, this is the best we've ever had. Oh, gracious.
All right. Question number 2 or 3 or whatever we're on. Is there anything that you wish you did differently or would you warn others about as they I would more like to hear about the content side of this, but even on the recruiting side, if you want to put that in there as well.
Yeah, look, I think with let's do content because I think I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of answers for recruiting. I think with the content side, I think both of you guys kind of mentioned this. Like, what we're seeing is over the past few years, a lot of people have built up brands online. Like that was a thing, but now we're entering this new phase of time where a lot more is happening in real life, conferences, events, networking. And I think what's happening is a lot of people feel comfortable creating content, you know, whether it's writing or I guess podcasting or video. And you can almost see that some people feel really comfortable in that element, but you have to be aware, like, you're going to meet people. So I think to what can happen is you can kind of build up a brand of who you almost like want to be, or you can build up a perception of yourself, but ultimately, like, you're going to meet people. And so I think if you're going to build a brand online, my biggest warning would be, number one, I think you're going to have to battle with people not liking what you have to say, like, because you can't please everyone. So that's just going to happen. So that'd be a number one warning. But then number two, it's like you are going to meet people offline at some point. So I just think authenticity gets thrown around a lot. And there's definitely like a nuance there where like you're going to be different online than you are offline because it's just a moment in time. A piece of content is just a moment in time. But as much as you can, just like keep in mind, like you're going to meet people, right? You're going to see people. And that's why I've always kind of positioned myself with content as more of a student, like wanting to learn and wanting to create conversation versus I think somebody's under pressure to be like a thought leader and like blow people's mind. And I think if you're positioning yourself like that, it's totally fine if you are truly a thought leader. But then when you go to events and you meet people, it's a different dynamic. And so, I think those would be two pieces. And the last piece would be just, I think it can become like content creation in general. It can create a lot of pressure and like anxiety, and it can become work, right? And so I think you have to really question at the beginning, like, why am I doing this? And I think you've got to have that motive clear, almost like as you go along, right? And like just bring value, wanting to network with people, get to know people, wanting to learn. Like those are great reasons. I think like what you want to be careful of is just like the pure chasing the likes and the vanity as like just an end in itself, because that stuff is kind of empty as well. Like I've gone viral a lot, millions and millions of views, and it can become a rat, like a hamster wheel within itself as well. So you just got to be careful with that,
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I started my LinkedIn journey and I was like, oh, I want this many likes and engagement and all this stuff. And I'm like, I finally gave that up. I was like, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And I don't care if like I get 1 like or 2 likes and, and the algorithm's always changing and screws you up and always changing and screws you up. And so, it's not my full-time job like it is yours, but I gave that up a long time ago because I do think the pressure can wear on you and it can feel like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And you like make yourself insane a little bit. And so when I stopped making myself insane, I got to say what I wanted to say and was able to move on. So I love that advice for people.
Yeah, it's about connecting with people. Like my favorite part of having followers is not having followers just to like look at it and be like, hundreds of thousands. This is so exciting. It's actually the doors that it opens up to like actually have real relationships with people. Like I feel like my network is the most valuable part, and that's the part that people don't see. But it's like when I go to RecFest, when I go to Transform, when I go to Unleash, and I see people and they like know who you are, and you're able to have conversations. Like that's the real value, and it's opened up doors for me. But I also think, to your point, like just saying what you actually think, putting your point of view out there and letting it connect with the people it connects with. And then you meet those people as well. It's like, it's a networking thing. And I think that's just so underrated. And it's like, that's the actual true part of networking and content creation. It all kind of goes together.
Yeah, absolutely.
A piece of that makes me feel like maybe that's why recruiters are going to be so good in this realm, is because we already do these things naturally. Like we care to hear someone's story. Like we care to naturally network organically. So I think that that's something that's an asset for like to explain how you grow so fast. Like you, Mike Pedetto, like a few others, like so well. And how do you do that organically without, getting inauthentic or just pumping out post pump? The other thing that you said that I thought was really important is kind of this idea of like the emotional resilience of the fact that like now you're putting yourself out there. So if people don't like what you're saying, it's kind of like they don't like you. And so it can feel very, very personal. Another thing that I think we don't talk about enough is once you start making content and establishing a voice, it becomes really hard for you to get hired by everyday brands. I think that that's something people don't talk about enough because once you are well known, once you are like, now you have an opinion that's branded and it's like, should we take that on? Should we not? What if they're good? What if they're bad? Like it just opens the door to so much that I feel that emotional resilience piece of like sticking with it and being able to have like comfort in the self to stay strong and confident, I think is something that I myself have to work on. But I think it's something that I didn't think of going into this type of space, this dotted line. All right, Desiree,
super
over
tough.
to you.
No, it's tough. It's tough because people don't talk about that, and then it opens doors. Other doors can close. You also can get locked into like your brand becoming your identity, and
Right.
oh man, it's tough because it's like your brand is kind of your identity, but people will make assumptions based on their perception of what your brand is before they meet you.
Pace of change in the world of business is fast, and that drives incredible complexity for the world of human resources.
Welcome to the HR Data Lab's Brown Bag Lunch, a series of conversations with experts inside and outside the world of human resources on how to innovate, measure, and evolve our practices.
Our goal is to help provide you with practical examples of how HR has to change and to meet in this complex business environment.
Every week, we'll talk to new and different voices on all aspects of human resources.
And guess what? You get to chat with us live.
Live?
Live.
So they can answer questions or they can ask us questions.
They can ask, they can answer, whatever they want. They get to talk with us live.
That's awesome.
Sometimes we geek out on the data and technology that underlie the processes that drive the world of HR.
But the conversations are always insightful and fun. So please enjoy the HR Data Lab's Brown Bag Lunch.
Hello, this is Michael Vandervoort from the Drive-Thru HR podcast, where we discuss ideas, trends, and activities that impact HR, talent, HR technology in the workplace. Our focus is on expanding knowledge and igniting curiosity as we hear directly from people who are shaping the future of the HR industry. Join us.
This happened a lot where I think people may have an idea of like what my brand is. Luckily, I put out so many videos that like there's a lot of different sides of Joel. If you go to my podcast, if you go to content, there's a lot of different sides, which is kind of like who I am as a person anyway. But it can be really, it's interesting when you meet people because they have assumptions about you already. So they might know you and be aware of you, but you also have to like change their assumption of you because it might not be, it might just be their perception, not who you are.
Yeah. I 100% had a perception of you. Sorry if you were about to say, but whenever we were at RecFest, because I like saw your face and I was like, that dude looks familiar. And then Desiree at one point was like, that's Joel. I'm like, who's Joel? Like, I don't know. But then like once she said it, I put it together with the picture and I was like, oh yes. But then I was like terrified to introduce myself because then I was like, oh yes, that's the dude with like multi-million following. He's making all these videos. Like, I don't know what'll happen next. I only know your GIF or your icon or your JPEG. Like, I don't know you other than like words on a screen. So even when you were sitting at our table actively listening to us practice for our talk, I was like, this guy's listening and he's a big deal. But like, I still never addressed you until you popped in and you were like, wait. And I was like, okay, cool. He's talking to us. Like, I felt like a little kid at school. Anyway, I'm moving past it, but I am here to validate what you're saying because it is true. There is this, I don't even want to just say a brand, but this mirage around you that's never going to be the real you because it's what we choose to put out. So it's like, but I mean, it is the real you, but it's like the dose that you let us see, right?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
And there's so much you can take from that. And I took from it like a little schoolgirl of like, well, just wait for him to say hi. But it's like Joel's a normal person, and so it's so interesting how that
probably
happens.
Not normal, but I'm.
But I was going to say, I don't know. If he's
Average.
totally
I'm definitely not normal in terms of just like I'm a very weird person, but I appreciate it. I have the same, but that's it too, where it's like. It's just so hard, and it's like, that's why I love like just meeting people in real life and just like taking that away. And like sometimes people make it kind of like weirder than it needs to be. But it's the same with all of us. It's the same. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It's like people will get hung up on like one post you did, but sometimes they don't. And it's like sometimes people are like, most of the time people are like, oh, I've seen your memes. That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
What about the podcast and the
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like all the other stuff.
What about everything else I've done?
Right.
Cool.
Just pick out the memes. Pick the worst thing I do. Right? Thanks.
It's really easy to do though. I just tell a joke and then put like a GIF behind, a Jiffy or whatever behind.
Yeah.
It's really easy. You could do it too. One.
I might. Now
You
we're
should.
gonna have meetings about copying you, similar to your last company. We're gonna be like, you know what, Joel's doing this. We need to do it.
We copy him already.
We're
What are you
copying.
talking about?
Screenshot a quote of mine, you know. Agree.
That's my favorite.
People,
Those are my favorite.
people get so mad.
I know, it's crazy. All right.
All right.
So where can we see you in 5 years? Where do you think you're going to be in 5 years? What's Joel look like, and the brand of Joel look like in 5 years?
Yeah, I love that. I think it's just doing. I'm doubling down on what I'm doing right now. I think hopefully my podcast has grown a lot. Podcast is Recruiting is no joke. We're on episode 100, which is coming up to it.
Congrats,
But I think
golf clap.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I only
That's
took
awesome.
like 5.5 years, but continuing to grow that. So I'd love for that. And then I think just this executive search role, which I've just recently taken on. I'd love to 5 years from now say, hey, I've placed 50 executives. I think that would be my goal.
That'd be cool.
And then just like supporting people, advisor, helping people out. Like I love being like an MC at events. So Transform, Wreckfest. If you guys are listening, I love being MC over keynote speaker. I'm like totally not a keynote. Like but I'm an MC. Like I like to have fun and get people excited. And I think that's where I'd be. And then, just helping people and supporting people as well, like with online stuff. And
That's awesome.
So same energy. Let me ask, 5 years ago, where did you think you would be today? Is it where you are now? Or really?
It's funny because like, all right, I don't know if you do those like the personality test. That's one of them where it's like futuristic is like one of the trends, and I'm a futuristic person, and so I think when I created content, like I always had this vision of like what's happened now. It's just no one else did. And this was 5 years ago. This was pre-pandemic. I started creating content, and it was like it was definitely a thing. It's like you had influencers, but over the last few years in business to business, it's like exploded. But I think I always envisioned this, like running a podcast, doing content. Though that was the primary. In terms of how I funded that, I don't think I envisioned like brand sponsored deals. Like that's something that's kind of happened along the way. But yeah, pretty much like the vision was do things that I enjoy, support my family, and meet awesome people. So I'm doing what I want to do. And sometimes I have to step back and remind myself of that, which probably all of us have to do at some point. Is like, it's like grind. It's frustrating, whatever. You have to step back and go, no, actually, I'm doing something I enjoy, and like I'm working on cool stuff. I'm meeting cool people, and I feel like that's the majority of people I know. And at the end of the day, like recruiting is really tough, but there's a lot tougher lives out there than recruiting. That's for sure. So I have to like be grateful about that, and I am grateful for that.
Yeah,
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I could ask 1,000 follow-up questions, but I'm looking at Desiree for guidance. She gives me the mom look of like when I know to do things. I just
That's
wish.
all right. We've organized. Desiree and I have worked together on organizing some events, and I get that look quite a bit.
Well, goodness. And that's what I was going to ask. Is there anything in this sphere? I know you just mentioned emceeing, but is there anything that in this next 5 years you're like, I want to tackle that? Like, I haven't gotten onto this yet, and I want to. And I know executive search, I think you mentioned, is kind of not new, but like enough to do it like full on. But kind of tell us, like, what's something like if we see Joel out there doing it, we're like, hell yeah, man, he made it, he did it, he's doing it.
Yeah, I think I've done a little bit of advising with companies, but I would love to get in there and like the advising / investing opportunity. I just have had to obviously to invest. You have to have the funds, which I'm getting to that point now of just owning a business for the last couple of years. I'm getting to a position where I'd be able to do that, and so I think being able to do that. And what I mean by that is like, hey, we've got an idea for the recruitment industry. It's a tech idea. There's a lot of value I can bring. It's not just operational knowledge of like what do recruiters care about or like how could this be used, but also like the marketing, the content, like the relationships. So I would love to get into that like investing and like advising space. So yeah, and I feel like I could probably do that now, or I'm getting to that point, and it could be something that happens soon. But you know how it is. There's always gatekeepers.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, there are.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there are.
Always.
And if you ever need a female podcast to sponsor, I'm just thinking out loud of a few. I think there's one that's called Talentless. They have no talent. They're a mess most of the time.
yes, yes, we are.
We'll get you some. I think the sponsorships right now, I want to encourage anyone who's like doing a podcast, who's doing any kind of content. Those opportunities are out there. A lot of times, just asking. Literally, like the first sponsorship I ever got, I just said, "Hey, does anyone want to sponsor my podcast?" Just did a LinkedIn post. 3 people responded, and then I was like, "Oh," they were like, "How much do you charge?" And I was like, "This much." And they were like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And I was like, "Dude, I should have asked for more." So then the next time I asked for more. But I feel like you can do that. And my whole idea around, and this is another thing for like anyone who's doing sponsorships or any kind of stuff, like charge a reasonable amount.
Right.
Like I got hundreds of thousands of followers. I know people who have less followers than me that charge more, but then it's just like they go from one deal to the next. Think about it like any type of relationship. Like you still want to provide value.
Sure.
Be reasonable with it and build up to it. Because I think there's a danger right now. There's a lot of people doing stuff, and it's like, it's like, don't ruin it for everybody by charging too much and not delivering anything. Like,
Right. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Do you have questions, Desiree?
No, you have your talent legend question.
Yeah, that was what I was about to ask too, but I didn't know if you wanted to ask it or not.
No, it's your question.
So essentially Clockout is supposed to be a show where we have created kind of this league of legends of people who are in the talent sphere. So they might be influencers, they might be a recruiter, they might be, the CEO of Ashby, putting that out there.
Putting that out there,
Ashby.
Halfway Ashley, almost named after me. But
True.
But I know. But essentially, we wanted to create this space because we do feel like so many people hopped into talent in the past 5 years that have either not had great leaders or have not had a centralized talent function. It is just people who don't know leading more people who don't know. And we wanted to create a space where in our season they have education, but out of season, we want them to meet the individuals that have done this role, have created success in this role, and have even paved their own path. And that's what Clockout is for, is to kind of get to know you, your journey, and your path. And so are there any other talent legends that you would like to nominate and hear about their story that we could put on the show? Maybe. So open-ended.
I think Jackie Clayton, someone that I really looked into. I think Jackie, we've gotten to know each other. I think what I appreciate about her is kind of her wisdom, directness, just the way she's really awesome. Gonna say how it is. But she's also like super humble, relatable.
Yeah.
I think she would be great. I think I don't know, Jerry Crispin, he's another guy who I think is great. Just it's people who have been in the industry that have given a lot, but then also because I don't know if Jerry's done a lot of advising, right? And he's seen a lot of things.
Wise.
I think those are the people that I look to. There is just so many people. I think, that would be those are the two who I think if you get them on the show.
Yeah, those would be like top-notch eppies. Knock Joel out of first place.
I think so.
Oh, man. So. Yeah, I'm glad that you suggested
just avoid
them.
Tim Sackett at all costs.
He's the first person I'm reaching out to after this. I'm going to look him up on LinkedIn.
No, I love Tim as well. Yeah, I think one thing that I found...
Because you're in his book. Aren't you in his book or something?
No. Craig Fisher.
Oh, Craig Fisher. Sorry. I use somebody's
so
book.
Popular.
Craig and Tim. You can't confuse Craig.
Sorry.
But that's the thing with the community is like there's just so many great people like Nikki Russell, someone else who comes to mind. Like there's so many people who like are who are all about like uplifting others, and I think there's just so many people who I think just looking at like likes and views and that type of stuff is just like, I think you find some great people who do have followings, but there's a lot of people who like just that has not been their focus, but they're like are actual influencers, right? Like,
right.
They know what they're talking about, and they just bring a ton of value. And I think those are the people that I don't think they've always figured out like the digital side of things, or maybe they're not like, oh, I know how to get my voice out there on video, but they're the people who have real value and influence in the space.
Yeah.
So
that's a valid point. Yeah,
no,
that's great.
And I agree. I actually think some of the best voices that I've ever heard talk about these things, they have no focus on following. And to be honest, I never did either until Desiree and I kind of got together and were like, oh, maybe this could be a thing. But so I get that, and I agree with that. I think people who are really doing the trench warfare work are not the same ones that are probably like have the time to do a ton of social media. I mean, of course you can, but who am I? I don't know anything. Desiree, please talk over
AI
me.
just does it. Well, AI just does everything for me.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
right
go.
now we're talking to his AI icon. This isn't him.
Hey, look, funnily enough, if you go on Instagram and you start messaging me, I have Instagram create an AI for me.
Nice.
It's insane. You ask it a question, it will send you a video that I've done about that topic.
Interesting. That's kind of cool.
Super weird.
That's super weird. You didn't set it up.
Super
They
cool.
did it.
Yeah, it's like a beta test that they're doing. It's just I have so much content that I think they were able to do it with it. But I think the next stage might be like an AI avatar, Joel. It's the whole thing. It's like a lot of people focused on the media part of social media, but like I always try to remember the social, and it's like that has always been a focus. Like a lot of people don't even know this, but like when I first started creating on LinkedIn, it was like every week I talked to 2 different people. And I remember people being like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. I just noticed like the more people I talk to, the more likes I get because I just know more people.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's weird. I thought you just commented a lot on people. I'm like, no, you get like, we need to focus more on the social versus the media. And the reality is I think the media is going to change as well because you got these like, I don't know if you saw that release from like Google or whatever with that the AI video that looks really good. And people are like, oh, influencers are cooked, It's like, well, no, because that AI isn't going to be able to like comment back and create relationship. So I think it's a balance between the two, and it's like, let's not forget the social side, right? Just like in recruiting, it's the same thing, relationships.
Yeah,
engagement.
absolutely.
So, another guy too, Marcus Sawyer is someone else who comes to mind.
Marcus Sawyer. All right.
All right.
Sawyer.
Yeah, give us the hidden gems.
Yes. You need all the hidden gems.
All the hidden gems. But all right, Joel, where can our listeners find you? Where can
Not
they
that
stalk
they don't
you?
already know.
Yeah, please tell us
go.
everywhere. You're everywhere.
Now, if you just look up Joel Lalgee, I'm actually the only Joel Lalgee in the world.
I used to be
Really?
Yeah, because it's a made up name. Whole story. My granddad, he's from Trinidad and Tobago. Is that how you say Tobago? People say it differently, but he moved to England actually, and so my granddad was Caribbean and Indian, and so Lalgee is actually an Indian name. Lalji is how it was originally spelled, but when he got to England, he didn't want to be he didn't want to be Indian, so he changed the spelling of it to Lalgee. And so because of that, it's just like not a name. But if you talk to anyone from India and go Lalgee, they're like, oh yeah, Lalgee. It's like Smith,
Right.
No, it's just like a regular name, right? It's just like, oh, a lot of people have that name.
Right.
So Joe Lalgee, it's just a super unusual name. So if you search that, you'll find me. And it's been an honor to be on the show. And I'm super excited for you guys because I think this is going to be amazing. Like, I love the feel, I love the way that you guys are doing this, and I think it's going to be great. So
thank you so much.
Episode number 1.
And hey, you've been excellent. Thank you really
Thank
and
you
truly
so
for your
much.
time.
Have a great day, Joel.
All right,
you.
Joel.
You too.
Catch you on the flip.
All right, bye.